Good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here is Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. Now, standing today on 11th December 2019, we are going to be shooting a pretty interesting video. But please be rest assured that this video will definitely not come or not to be shared by the media. Actually, before shooting this video, I would like to let you know that we actually reached at a level when the media of India is actually not paid. It is 500% paid, not paid, 500% paid. In fact, Indian media reached to a level whereby I would say that Indian media has decided that whatever happens, the only topic they're going to get discussed on their channels would be Hindu Muslim, would be Supreme Court judgment, would be some another political debate, or would be another religious thing that would divide the country. Except that they're not going to discuss anything. So today I'm not going to be naming any company, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to be let you know that what exactly happening in the Indian IT industry. Now everybody know that I served in HCL, I served in EXL for approximately total tenure of 10 years. So I am having a complete base in Indian IT and ITES industry. For all those people who don't know, IT stands for Information Technology, ITES stands for Information Technology Enabled Services. So I have a complete base. You know the company and I know. In the last 2 weeks, we have a chat group and we were discussing in a chat group about a very close chat group. Actually, not everyone is invited. So there is a tactical shift which is happening in the Indian IT industry, and unfortunately this tactical shift is not being covered by the media, because media priority is completely different, and now we have a different priority of media, which is the citizenship bill. Now the question is that when I started my career in 2007, Indian IT industry used to sign very long dated contract with the clients. Now they long dated sometimes 15 years, 20 years, and maybe in some cases more than that. Without quoting the name of any client, I myself saw the contract whereby the contract tenure is 10 years with a COLA clause. COLA stands for cost of living adjustment. So in a very simplistic term, it will say that the price increase. So just like an employee who will work in a company and every year he expects some promotion or some increment in his salary, but due to politics and his bosses, he will never get it. The right person will never get, the wrong person will always get. That is a fact. So what happened that similarly when once big IT companies, they work for the corporate, they work for their clients. So example, without quoting the name, there is an IT company who works for Microsoft. Suppose they have client Microsoft and they are offering any services to Microsoft. Suppose they sign 10 years contract with Microsoft. So every year there are some conditions. So every client has certain conditions. Based upon these conditions, they sign the COLA agreement. COLA stands for cost of living index. So suppose this IT company bills $100 to Microsoft. After 1 year, this would be 105, 110, maybe more, depend upon certain conditions, USD, INR rate and all. This whole process is actually being managed by a department or in every IT industry, which is shortly known as business finance. Majority of the Indian companies do not have even this department as well, and that is quite surprising. I don't know if you work in a corporate, then you yourself put a hand on your heart and let me know that how many corporates do you know, including yourself, those who have a dedicated and independent, please note, dedicated and independent department, just like a business finance department. But that will never happen in India. That will never happen, and we are not here discussing that. So what exactly used to happen? When Indian IT companies used to sign the long dated contract, they used to hire the employee on a long dated contracts. So basically, if today I am a company, any IT company who signed a contract with Microsoft, and that contract would be for for 10 years, then I need people for 10 years. And if as an IT company, if I feel that that I am able to work better, I am able to provide a good quality service to the Microsoft, then of course Microsoft would be happy and this process would continue. Now what happens in the last 2 to 3 years, there is a tactical shift happening in the IT industry in India. Unfortunately, this tactical shift on often basis, not on seldom basis, on often basis, criticized or negated by the so-called leaders of Indian IT industry. But the reality is that this tactical shift is happening and this continues to happen. So let us take example. 2 to 3 years, basically in the last 2 to 3 years, the whole world started talking about digitization. People talking about digitization, the people talking about cloud compounding, cloud services, blockchain, Bitcoin, Internet of Things, and all these whole gamut is actually coming up. Now this creates a pressure on both pillars of India, because India have multiple pillars and all the pillars are now on paper. IT, real estate, financial services, everyday fraud is happening. Banking sector, the apparel sector, textile, the only 2-3 pillars which left in India is the IT sector, to be honest. Now, this digitization is impacting the ITES services very hard. ITES stands for Information Technology Enabled Services. Just you can say Genpact, I would say SCL, BPO, Cognizant having IT services, almost everybody, Wipro, TCS, everybody having IT services. Because of that, what happened is that everything going on cloud. So just take a simple example. You are a customer who based out UK. Without quoting the name, you are an insurance company. Since you are an insurance company, you have a lot of customers, and once they buy your insurance policy, they have queries. Everyone do hold queries. Now what happens, since they have queries, they call to the call center. Now that insurance company in the UK feels that if they have this call center in UK, it would cost them too much, and their bottom line, which is PAT, profit after tax, would be very less or might be zero or maybe very small margin. So they shifted to India. Now what happened? It started a revolution in India which is known as voice-based services, and eventually even people are saying back office services. But now what happened? It's a call center, complete facility cost, infrastructure cost, IT cost, a hell lot of thing. Now this insurance player is being contacted by 3 top guys: Amazon, Google and Microsoft. To be specific, AWS, Google, which is Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. For a minute, keep Alibaba aside, or you can take Alibaba also. So this company is being contacted by 4 big boys: AWS, Google, Microsoft and Alibaba. And they're saying, boss, you spending every month, this IT company bills you 100k GBP. So in a year, they bill you 1.2 million GBP. In 50% of that, I give you a cloud solution. Your customer need not to call to the call center. He opens the mobile, tick, 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 and he will get to know what is the status of that insurance policy. I'm just giving a very simplistic example. Now this would have, now that insurance company would be like, oh, I'm paying 1.2 million GBP to that company. Now the same work could be get done in 600k. Now what they actually do, they push the company who is giving the services in India to reduce the price. So ultimately what's happened? Cola zero. Because here, forget increasing prices, they are pushing you to decrease the price. So the cost of living index is actually nothing but a clause in an agreement. It's no longer hold true, and this is what is happening. Since our media is not only paid, silent, corrupt and everything, the reality is that information technology enabled services is actually shedding jobs in India. Majority of the work which information technology enabled services big boys, without quoting the name, used to do, now it is actually shifting on cloud. Because of that, not much requirement is there in the public domain. In fact, if you would have opened the websites like Naukri.com, Monster.com, Indeed.com, and there are a hell lot of websites, you would have get to know that these kind of jobs which used to come from ITES sector, they are now reducing every second day. So ITES sector is definitely moving towards digitization. The only thing they have is that the body shopping business, which they used to do in IT industry, it is called body shopping business. Now body shopping means basically you have 10 people, 100 people deployed. Everybody is billing at 20 GBP per hour. So 100 into 20, which is roughly 2000 GBP you are billing in an hour, minus whatever cost and all. It's a hell lot of profit which they used to make. Now it is cloud. Even a customer know that what Amazon is charging from this. So after having facility cost and 5-10% margin, now it is a normal business, nothing big game left for these ITES players. The biggest problem is that the contract which the client is signing with these ITES players, the tenure of that contract is now decreasing. It's not a 10-year contract, because technology is not only changing, but technology is changing at a very faster pace. Now previously what used to happen, once in 10 years a technology used to come. Previous to that, once in 20 years a technology used to come. Now what happens, once in 2 years a technology used to come. So a customer, whatever insurance company you name, do not sign a big contract with the ITES player in India. Even if sign big contract, will not sign it for 10 years, rather it will wait to sign for 2 years and renew after 2 years, because technology change. And more important thing, which is a very technical word in the IT industry, which is known as KT. KT stands for knowledge transfer. The knowledge transfer component is getting very, very faster. So without quoting the name, there was a big customer whom I know, and one ITES player sold their data in the public domain. You can refer to Google what case I'm referring to. I gave you the ample of hints. What happens is they sold a lot of data or pertaining to them in the public space or to the other clients. They decided to left that customer. But they took around 1 year to left, because migration in technical word is not easy. But since technology is getting robust, technology is on the cloud, and all the big boys, the 4 I named, they are improving technology at a much faster pace, spending a lot of money on the R&D. The migration or the KT part is getting simpler and simpler. And God knows 2 to 3 years down the line, this migration would be more easier than it used to be now. So ultimately ITES do not need much people. So whatever people they have, even if they give jobs to them, they feed them, they give them salary, that is more than sufficient. Now comes the second part, which is the IT, information technology, the hardcore coding piece. First of all, we need to appreciate that none of the Indian IT companies is doing the work which is actually required in the digitization. The prime example is that the majority of the startups, majority of the digitization work is actually happening in Singapore, happening in US and some parts of London, probably in Southeast Asia also. It is not coming to India. The reason is Infosys is firing approximately 15,000 people, and I am not saying it is in the public domain. Cognizant is once again firing 10,000 plus people. The difference between Infosys and Cognizant is that Infosys not made it clear who is going to go, lower level, middle level, upper level, or what composition, while Cognizant made it clear that the majority of the cuts would happen from the upper level, because they are those people, those who are enjoying and doing nothing. Eventually what happens? Eventually what is happening is that this IT industry who used to sign very long dated contracts with customers, now they are not signing these long dated contracts. I will give you a sufficient proof. Hold on this video and open Google and just visit the results of any IT company in India. I will not name anyone, any IT company in India, and just see, compare this result with the result they used to declare 5-6 years before. So somewhere 2012, 2013. In 2013 they used to say every result, even in a quarter result, we signed 2 billion TCV. TCV stands for total contract value. They say we signed 2 billion TCV, 3 billion TCV, 5 billion TCV. TCV, total contract value, used to be a buzzword in, I would say it used to be a very good buzzword by the IT industry. But if you look now, without quoting the name, you would get to know that that buzzword, which is TCV, total contract value, is gone. Where it goes, I don't know, but now no IT company is saying we signed that billion of contract worth, or basically that much billion TCV. The reason is they themselves know that the contract which they are signing is very short tenure contract, which is 1 year, 2 year, and subject to renewal. Henceforth, in English there is a word called job hopping. Job hopping means you work in a company and you always look to work in some another company. though in basically no offense, but there is no loyalty. Similarly, now customer is doing customer hopping, which they are doing. I have no loyalty. Today this company offers me this price, tomorrow another company offers me technology better, migration is anyways cheap, I will go to that place. Why should I work for that company? I have no personal favors to this company, I will go to this company. Now similarly, this creates a phenomena in the system which is practically known as gig economy, GIG. Now if you come to Singapore, you would have get to know there are many young kids, 18, 19, 20 year young kids. They signing so many, I would say, startups or apps whereby it is coming, they making gig economy contracts. Now what are the gig economy contracts? Gig economy contract means that basically there are a lot of people. Now these IT companies required freelancers. In short, they need people for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 1 month, 1 year. Do, build, operate and transfer. Go, get out. Your job is done. If you would have noticed, Indian IT company is hiring a lot of gig people. In fact, I don't know how many of you read Singaporean newspaper. I am based out of Singapore. If you're reading Dubai newspaper and New York newspaper, there are so much gig component which is happening. In fact, the big boys, Goldman, HSBC, JP and all, they have also started participating in the gig economy. And that's a more worrying factor. People used to believe that gig economy is only for manufacturing. The project come, they hire people, you deliver, you go. But now this gig economy is actually inculcating into IT and slowly it inculcating into banking sector. Without quoting the name of a banking sector, we got to know from the interbank market there are many banks those who started hiring on a gig basis. Come, deliver and go. Thank you very much. No pension, no HRA, no LTC, no maternity leave, no promotion, nothing. You just get a salary for that period. You are on the contract. Come, ask your contractor if he has any other job for you. Else, thank you very much. Go to your home, open TV and watch cricket. And this trend, my dear friends, not scaring but would continue. Eventually what happened, 2 to 3 years down the line, what actually happened, majority of the workforce in the Indian IT industry would be gig. Could be 60%, I would say might be 70%. And the permanent workforce would be very, very limited. And what happens, this will create a stress on a workforce. And what kind of stress it will create? You would always be in a pressure that if you don't deliver, they will fire you. Because they don't have a contract with you. Ultimately, you are on the payroll of somebody, right? So that they have no contract with you. If they just give a call to the contractor and say we want you to go, you will go. Now the problem is that this will raise unemployment in India. There is no doubt, which is also growing at a much faster pace. This will decrease the payout by the IT companies, and this is what they want. It's simple. The price they used to charge to the customer, they are also not getting that price. Since they are not getting that price, they want the salary they pay to their employee should be reduced. And the only way out of this is the gig economy. Eventually what happened, the IT industry will shift, and sooner or later, take my words, you would get to know that in another 2 to 3 years, every IT company voluntarily will come and say, would you like to work from home? You will see that the big facilities these IT company made without any vision, these facilities would go away. They will sell these facilities, rather they want their employees to work from home. Ultimately, the dimensions and the dynamics of the Indian IT industry in another 2 to 3 years will change drastically. To conclude this video, I see that in 2020, the total hiring Indian IT companies do would be pretty less. Majority of the hirings would be on the gig basis, which is temporary basis or on the contract basis. Apart from that, the salary component, which is known as CTC, cost to company, would be low. Could be 30%, 40%, might be 50% low. And more important thing which should not happen is that its mass firing will happen in the IT industry. Today, Infosys and Cognizant came openly in the public domain and said they are firing. Well, anyways, firing is done by everybody. The only thing is, a lot of companies don't came in the public domain and they create an image which is known as their media image. Last but not the least, I see that 2020 would definitely be a challenging year for Indian IT industry, and the component which is a remittance component, they contribute to the current account of the country, because Indian current account major component comes from the IT industry. The component they contribute to the IT industry probably would be coming from IT industry would be very less. I know it looks scary, I know it looks unrealistic, but no one ever thought the cloud would come. It is there. No one ever thought Internet of Things would come. It is there. No one ever thought we would have a phone, iPhone. It is there. No one ever thought that TikTok would cross YouTube in terms of popularity, and now 200 million viewers. It is there. And what I am going to be telling you, it's not being covered by Arnab Goswami or by Aaj Tak, but in another 2 to 3 years, you will see that Indian IT companies would be a place of hire and fire. Come, deliver and go. I wish you all the very best, but we cannot run away from reality, and the reality is that 2020 would be very difficult and volatile year, but all those who are determined, they know what they are doing, high skill set, they will grow. With this, we thank you very much and have a great time. You know my mobile number, which is +91 9899 242 978. I repeat, +91 9899 242 978. We have a channel on TikTok as well. It's very simple. Open TikTok and my user ID is Rahul Magan 8. We shoot a lot of videos on TikTok. If you feel you wanted to join, come and have a great time. Talk soon.